What's up YouTube land, Xeno Gaming here with the brand new 2019 F1 career mode.
In F1 2019, you'll be invited to start your career by selecting a Formula 2 team. Driving for this team, you'll experience some key moments of a Formula 2 season, a thrill-packed racing championship in its own right, and the springboard to Formula 1. At the end of this feeder series, your choice of driver academy and your performance in F2 will determine the terms of the contracts offered by the teams as you embark upon your career in Formula 1 and begin to write your own chapter of motorsport history.
So in this year's game we have the new introduction of the Formula 2 cars, which is really cool. I've been waiting for this for a long time. And we got the choice of Carlin, ART, Dams, Russian Time, Prama, Carouse, Campos, MP Motorsport, BWT, and the Trident team. And today we will be going with Carlin. And also we have this new thing with the Driver Academy, and we will be selecting Red Bull. In the third event of the 2018 Formula 2 Championship, a mechanical issue presented Jag Xeno with a stark choice: put the team first and cede the position to their teammate Lucas Weber, or deny Weber to pursue their rivalry with Devon Butler. That is the challenge we have here at Spain.
New driver really commanding the race here. Devon Butler still ruthlessly giving chase. These two have been really scrapping it out for the early wins in the championship. And something's wrong. Butler sees his chance. Some kind of mechanical failure. Picking up speed again. It's unclear what the issue was. Can they still finish this race?
Looks like an issue with the turbo. You've lost some speed at the top end, but you're very close to the finish. You can still compete and get some points here. Don't give up. Just do the best you can. We're all behind you.
So welcome to the new career mode. This is really exciting. And driving the F2 cars, the Carlin car looks absolutely fantastic. If I do say so myself. Big lock up in turn 10. No, driving these F2 cars, there's so much different. And the first challenge is we have to let Weber pass because we have a bit of a turbo issue, which is not ideal around. But at Spain we can get away with it, so I've decided that if he he can pass me on track if he wants to position. I need as many points as possible for the championship in F2. As we come into turn 1, 2, we hold on to the place and just try and catch the cars ahead if we can possibly. So make a small mistake into turn 4 there. Very tricky to drive these cars. I found the best way to drive them was just to not overdrive the corners and just hit your braking points and the apexes, and that you'll find speed that way. If you tried to overdrive the car, I found that it was really a challenge to have the pace. So we have got Weber behind us, and we're not giving up on this.
Some people are going to want to talk to you after this. Not letting Lucas pass has potentially denied the team valuable points. For now, race on, do the best you can.
So the theory behind keep in position is A, we need more championship points, and B, I'm not sure if Weber can catch the cars ahead there. About a good 3-4 seconds ahead with only 3 laps to go. Doubt he's going to catch up, so we're going to keep the position here, and he's a bit far back coming onto this straight, and we set a purple last sector, so we do have the pace still. to maintain the position. We've actually pulled away from the cars behind. We were in a bit of a train, but able to take the racing line into turn 1 very nicely. And Giotto is ahead of us, so we'll be trying to chase him down. But our rival Devon Butler leads the race for the Russian time team, so that's not ideal for our championship in the F2 feeder series. It's once again really cool to have these cars in the game. Brings a different element to these Formula 1 Codemaster games. Really excited for this year's game, as everybody is. I think this could have the potential to be the best game ever, as every year should be. Every new year should be the best game ever, so we'll just have increased expectations upon for next season with all the new features they've brought into this year's game, and hopefully it takes that step forward every year as it should when you develop a game an extra year and have extra resources to put into it. So back to the action here. We're still just holding on to Weber, our teammate, quite comfortably at the minute. Missed that apex a little bit, and now it puts us a bit of a tough position for the chicane, locked up slightly and get a poor exit there, a bit of oversteer. Wasn't a clean exit. Now Weber has the opportunity, run a bit wide at last corner. He's much closer than he has been. We try to defend the inside, and one thing I have noticed about this game, as he goes around the outside firstly, and back the big dive on the brakes, back to second gear, just get it turned in. We just hold on to 5th place, so job well done there, and we manage to keep ahead of Weber, and we just understeer off at turn 3, really pushing hard now. But yeah, another thing I noticed with this year's game is the AI, when you go to the inside of the track to defend the position early in the straight, they will follow you for your slipstream. I don't think that's been a thing of the past, so it's really good to see that they've taken that step in the game direction, which is good to see from a neutral's perspective. Of wanting great racing between the player and the AI, so it's really a nice step forward. It's going to make it a lot harder to defend your position from them this year, and I don't think I would have had the big dive bomb if it was in an F1 car as I did on Weber there, as Devon Butler comes across the line to win the Spanish Grand Prix, and we will come across the line in 5th place ahead of Lucas Weber, so it's a good result for the team.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
So Russian Time have won it, and what a great race it was. Davide, what do you think made the difference here?
I think what won them the race was their ability to adapt. At every point, they delivered what was needed. They were calm and steady when they needed to be, but they were ruthless and aggressive when it was demanded of them. There wasn't anything out there that they weren't prepared to handle. Let's see if they can keep it up this season.
Another race and another victory for Russian Time, as we see the drivers make their way out to the podium for the final ceremony. Superb racing out there today, and a well-deserved win. After this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the driver's tape. It's a good result for Devon Butler, who moves further ahead at the top of the tape. Now then, Davide Valsecchi, who would you say was your driver of the day?
Well, after a drive like that, it's got to be Alessio Lorandi. Very clean, very smooth. You can be really pleased with that one.
On to the teams then. Russian Time moved to the top of the tape. After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
So Devon Butler has a 30-point lead in the championship, but you can see how crucial it was to beat Weber today, as we're only 1 point ahead of him in the championship, and the Russian time team have a 1 point lead over us in the constructors or team standings. So it's going to be a great battle all season, and now we will be moving on to the next race in Austria.
There you are.
But
That was an exciting race. It definitely got people talking about you, which means I was able to secure a quick interview. Okay, we're all set over here. Just a minute. Remember, anything you say to the press can go very, very public. So be relaxed, but also be conscious of what you're saying and how it might come across to other people, okay? I think we're ready.
Great. So Emma keeps telling me you're the one to watch this season. If that's true, you'll be doing plenty of these. Just remember, be yourself. And the more you can give me, the better this will be. Right, stand here. Turn a little this way for me. Perfect. Ready? An exciting race today. Let's get your perspective. So you and Lucas are new to the team. How are you settling in?
Yep, so forgot about the press interviews and the next cutscene after this, but it's cool how we have the interviews back new and improved for this year.
I want to ask, why didn't you let Lucas pass when your team told you to?
And yeah, all the cutscenes they have are really good as well. It's a shame if it doesn't go into Formula 1.
Well, that's everything.
But it's still a great starting point, and you'd hope they could expand on next year. I'm also another person who would have liked to see the full GP2 season, or F2 season, sorry, in the career mode. It would have been really nice, and maybe give you the option to have a full season with scenarios in it as well if you want.
Not now. Next time the team give you an instruction, follow it. It is not a request. Yes?
Oh, I'm sorry, am I interrupting? I can leave, or, actually no, continue.
Can we help you with something?
Oh, it was just, you were the better driver. Yeah, from my car it seemed like you deserved the win.
Okay, congratulations. But the team gave you an order. You could have jeopardized it for both of us.
You know, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but you really don't have what it takes to be a champ. Lucas likes to talk a good game about the whole team thing, but the fact is, if you're in the same situation, do you really think he'd let you pass?
I would.
See the hesitation? Anyway, it doesn't matter who wins. Next season, I'll be spending my Sunday afternoons atop the F1 podium, while you two will be teaching kids to drive robots. Good luck, yeah?
Look, I understand why you did it. Do you really think an F1 team will allow you to just drive however you want? Come on.
So these cutscenes are really cool. Devin Butler seems like an arrogant prick. So that's that. The sixth event was a low point for Jack Zeno when an aggressive move from Devin Butler resulted in contact and the destruction of their front wing. Can you catch up after Butler's penalty? That is the situation we have faced here at Austria. So unfortunate that would happen. Now the cutscene.
Look at them go! Devin Butler locked in wheel-to-wheel racing with his championship rival, desperate to shut them down and stop them getting past. And there's contact. Butler simply left them nowhere to go. There was just no way for them to have avoided that. And look, there's significant damage. Not sure if that was down to recklessness or sheer aggression, but I'm sure the stewards are going to have something to say very shortly.
So the situation is we've come in, team radio. So the situation is we've come out, new front wing, fresh tyres, and we need to chase down the chasing cars ahead, and Devon Butler will come in for a penalty, and we will need to get past.
The stewards have awarded Devon a penalty. Push on. You can still catch him. You can still beat him.
So first up is Gunter, and I believe he's driving the BWT car. So as I was saying before that cutscene, Devon Butler just seems like an arrogant prick, really up himself, and yeah, whereas Weber looks like the bit more chilled out, relaxed driver, as any German I guess would be, like similar to Sebastian Vettel characteristic, not so much Michael Schumacher character, who is got a huge ego, very arrogant. So yeah. So good first out lap, purple in the second and third sectors, and we're really closing the gap immediately to Maximilian Gunter. So that's a positive first out lap. Really not the biggest fan of the Austrian track. Really hate the middle sector. Just thanks, Jeff. And it really is, and I hate the middle sector. It just feels like those corners just go forever, and it's even worse in the F2 car. These cars really, a huge difference between these cars and the Formula 1 cars. Just the amount of downforce difference is unbelievable. And anyway, we're now closing up to the back of Gunter. Butler is a couple of places ahead, and that's the goal of what we have to do today. Is we are on our way to setting the fastest lap of the race. Much better exit than Gunter coming out of the corner, and we are placing our car in a great spot to just be a bit later on the brakes, use a lot of curb, and that's up into P10. So 1 point so far with 4 laps to go. So we need to just consistently put in the quick lap times, and if we want a chance of victory on this challenge, not actual victory, that's obviously a bit too far gone at this point. But next up is Luca Giotto, so hopefully we'll be able to get past him as soon as possible and catch him. So my final thoughts are, I guess, on this F2 introduction and the way they've done the cutscenes. It's cool. As I said before, I'd like to see a little bit more in terms of races, like a full event. Maybe would have been nicer. Another thing, there is way too many radio updates about Devon Butler. It just gets annoying really quickly. It's almost like every second or third corner the team radio is on to you about him. So you told me 2 corners ago where he was, and he still hasn't changed. Unless he's changed, then maybe tell me, That's my viewpoint on that as well. But the good thing at the minute is that Butler is stuck behind, I believe it is Roberto Merri ahead. So Merri doing a job for us at the minute, making sure Butler cannot get past, and he's only in 8th place, a couple of places ahead. So with 2 to go and the pace we have, Merri's doing a wonderful job on this lap, absolutely weaving all over the track, I assume, to hold on to his position, which is really helping us catch and close the gap. And so for next year's game, you'd hope they can expand on this, make it a lot more interactive, and maybe give you the options to do a full season if you're someone who's dedicated to do a full season, or if you just want to play 3 races like this, you can play 3 races. There's so much that they can do with it. They can maybe, even if they want to, they could introduce F3 cars. Not sure how many people would want that. I would be for it. just another car to drive and experience, as we're now another fastest lap of the race, and we are right on the back of Luke Giotto, and we're going to have a great opportunity into turn 3, I believe, because the little kink is turn 2, so in the slipstream, going to go to the inside of the spaces there, and we take it up and get the job done. Lock up on the front right, but job done as Butler's going side by side now with Roberto Meri ahead, but he's not able to get past it, and he slots back in behind, and he's once again looking around the outside, and this is doing us a treat here, is Roberto Meri, as Butler once again can't get past, and he is costing Butler a lot of time, and we are closing up all the time now. With 1.5 laps to go, we now have a chance to beat our rival. Not the best middle sector there, but we are closing right up. We've pulled away from Giotto now. No pressure from behind into the final corner, and we're right behind him, so the opportunity is now we get a much better run onto the main straight. Flick open the DRS, we're in the slipstream, we're closing. Another fastest lap of the race. Can we pull to the inside? Laid on the brakes, cars there, and job done. Will he have a flight back on the exit? No, he hasn't got the best exit, has Butler. So that is P8, and now we can put our attention on Roberto Meri. Can we get past him for 7th? And really hurt Devin Butler's day even more. The fact he couldn't get past Roberto Meri. So DRS open, but we're a bit too far back, it looks like. We close up, but not enough, unfortunately, to have a look at Meri. We close up a lot on the brakes. We might have an opportunity where we got Maximilian Gunter into turn 7 and around this track. Or was it turn 8, I believe? The fast right-hander. I think it's a 9-corner track these days. Really, only it is 8 corners. With I don't count turn 2. As Alexander Albon has won in the Dams car. But now we got a much better run than Meri here. But we're not as close as you would like, unfortunately. But we're going to have a go anyway. And we put the car down the inside. And big lock up, but we get the job done. P7 for us here today at the Austrian Grand Prix, with our rival finishing 9th. So, very important day for us.
Here they are then, coming into Parc Fermé. What an excellent win for the Dams team. So, Davide, what did you make of that?
Well, it was a bit of a roller coaster, I think. There will be a lot of cheering for today's winner. Frankly, I'm amazed that Devon Butler only received a penalty for that collision only. But watching the rival he knocked out actually come back and beat him, that made this whole race worthwhile for me.
And I can see our drivers making their way out now. It's been a sublime team performance, and it's the culmination of a lot of hard work. Dams are your winners today.
So, another thought about this is having the last year's Formula 2 drivers, then everyone making the step up to Formula 1 was a brilliant idea by Codemasters, because it gives you that realism factor to moving up all together, which is really cool.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. It was not the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
Look at where Narete Kuzumi finished compared to where he started. That's a really strong performance. So driver of the day has to go to him, I think.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams Championship. We saw a dip in form from the championship leaders today. Their lead has taken a significant blow. Goodbye for now then, but we really are just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
So, 14 points, Butler has the lead us in the championship. We as a team have the championship lead, so it's really becoming a tight battle between us and Devon Butler. And it's really enjoyable to have this kind of big rival to have a scenario with. I thought that all three of us would be fighting for the championship, but I guess not.
Well, that was a
great recovery today. Did you think it was all over when you had the collision with Devon?
I did think it was all over. It was quite a big gap. I didn't know I was going to be able to chase it down, to be honest. But we managed to do it. I think Roberto Mary helped us out a lot with that one.
So did you ever think you'd get the place back from Devon?
At the start I didn't. As the laps went on, of course, we thought we could catch up. So yeah.
I've seen that you and Lucas have been picking up a lot of points recently. What do you think of your championship chances?
Claire is new and improved. I'm not sure how it's going to be when Formula 1 starts, but
Appreciate your time.
the questions have been really good in F2 so far, so that's really promising to see. A bit more depth to the questions, I guess, which is good to see them take a improvement to the game year on year. Hopefully that translates to Formula 1 when other story modes completed.
Looking for you. Well, what can I say? I guess there's no other way to put this, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry for ever giving you the common respect that all racers deserve, because you don't deserve it, neither of you do. That was the dirtiest driving I've ever seen.
Ridiculous.
My thoughts exactly. I'm taking my line and I get smashed into? I'm fine, by the way, thanks for asking me. And then I'm penalized for the privilege.
You're unbelievable. You deserved every second of that penalty. Maybe more. I mean, aside from trashing the car, did you ever stop to think that maybe someone could get hurt?
Yeah. Me, fine.
But winning at any cost is your strategy, not ours. You better watch yourself.
Whatever.
Don't let him get in your head. He knows you're a better driver. So, on the track, stay away from him. He will try to force you into contact. That's how he wins, yeah? Let's get ready for the press briefing.
Another thought, watching that cutscene, it just makes me think, why is Weber defending us? How come we can't defend ourselves? How come our character doesn't have a voice character? I guess because it makes no sense, because Weber was nowhere near the accident. I mean, he didn't see what happened. How does he know what's right and what's wrong? So anyway, we know we'll move on to the last race for the F2 scenarios here at Abu Dhabi.
Here we are in Abu Dhabi. Each and every event in the Formula 2 calendar has led us here to this, the final event of the championship, and one that promises to be a spectacle every bit as exciting as we might have hoped. So the Yas Island circuit offers 21 corners and a lap distance of around 3.4 miles. There are a few opportunities to pass with long straights and DRS zones in 2 places, turns 8 and 11. Plenty of close racing then, plenty of speed, and plenty of excitement for the fans, no doubt. Joining me for one last time here this year is Davide Valsecchi. Davide, I'm glad you're here, because I think I'm going to need help processing all this. Surely, this is as exciting as it gets.
Yeah, you're right, Alex. It's the perfect finale. 2 drivers, rivals of season, now going into the final race, tied on points. Both way out in front at the top of the standings. Meaning whichever of these 2 drivers cross the line first will be crowned champion. I can't wait.
Okay, this is it. Last race of the season. All you have to do is finish in the points ahead of Devon, and the next time we see each other, you'll be the F2 World Champion. No pressure then. Good luck.
So, last race of the scenario, Abu Dhabi. Goal is to beat Butler, 8th on the grid. He's 4th on the grid, so here we go. 5 lights. Lights out and away we go. The first start we make for this year's game, as the last 2 are rolling starts. And into turn 1, very hot into turn 1, we've hit our teammate Weber. That's not an ideal start to our race. Butler's got a good start, he's into 3rd place already, as our engineer told us. And the understeer, we can already feel the understeer through the first corner. And we go wide, we almost drop it on the exit as we go over the big bump on the outside there. And unfortunately, that is going to compromise our race right from the beginning, as we're behind our teammate here in 7th place. We have made it 1 place from the start on Antonio Fiocco, so not a bad start, just way too hot into turn one. It looked like it was there to be to go at that speed, but then it all bunched up, and I had way too much speed, unfortunately, and that's cost us. We have a look at way, but we're not close enough, and it wasn't too bad the damage, but I reckon it was costing me a good half a second a lap, maybe more. But it was manageable, and we had a big slot out of there. Now Albon, he's got past Fuoco, and he's going to have a go on us. The Dams driver around the outside. Will we get it done? Not quite. We have the line, and we take that up to hold on to 7th place. So this last scenario is 11 laps around Abu Dhabi, and pretty much do your best to beat Devon Butler. And he's already out in front in 2nd place now, which is not ideal. You can see him. He's coming into the chicane now, so he's already about 3 seconds ahead, and we're still stuck behind Webber. Weber, I should say. He's not a Webber, Mark Webber. He's not Australian, he's German. We have a big dive into, I'm not even sure what corner this is, and we get it done. A bit of contact, but if you're having a big dive, the AI will just turn in on you. So you got to be careful. If you're not fully alongside, you better back out of it, or else they're not scared to take their line. As in previous games, they would just get out the way for you. Not this year. Look at this again. We're up the inside of Russell. We're there, but he comes into us. So it's really good to see the AI, our battlers. As we get the DRS now, this is going to be tough because we haven't got slipstream off the freeze while Russell has, so he's going to pull past us, and Weber might join the party, but he doesn't think about it. Russell's on the outside. We brake deep on the brakes, almost went to the back of the freeze. Big moment on the back end there, but get the job done into P5. Now we're going to chase into freeze. We've got DRS out. We'll be able to make the overtake in the DRS zone, but not quite close enough, unfortunately. Too far back for a dive. Late on the brakes, real late on the brake. Close right up, lock up. Again, probably just pushing that little bit too hard. Don't have that same front down force that we would have had into the hairpin. Going to wait for the DRS, which is the right thing to do, to freeze a little bit slow in the Prama car. So we've got an opportunity here on lap 5 to get the job done. DRS, slipstream. This should be a good overtake. De Vries defends to the inside. We're going to go to the outside. It's good to see the AI defend this year as well. They don't just stick on the racing line. And around the outside, really nice move later on the brakes. And clean exit there, meaning De Vries cannot have the opportunity to fight back. But next is Luka Kyoto, and you can see where he is on the track. This is now lap 6. And Artem Markelov is out of this race, which is with a technical issue, which is really unfortunate for us. I was hoping he could maybe hold up Butler a little bit if they fight, despite being on the same team. I don't think the game would have worked like that. But unfortunately, he's out of the race, and now George Russell is behind us. He seems to be a bit quicker than us as our tyres are going off. The more our tyres go off, the less, the more the front wing is damaged, is damaging us, because the less tyre grip. As Russell goes around the outside, really good move. We have to give it space and just about get 2 cars through there. And Russell with DRS again, but not quite on that lap 9 now. Russell again behind us, pressuring us. So now the attention from pressuring Giotto has gone to defending Russell. You can see the tyres there, bit battered. The front wing's not in the best of shape. Russell this time easily around the outside, late on the brakes, and he's much later. He locks up, does George Russell, and he gets the job done. And we're going to have DRS on this straight, but he's pulling away in the corner on the out of the exit there, so we have obviously damaged our tyres a bit too much, I think. We're going to have a little look here, but Russell maintains the position. We get a much better run through the chicane. We're going to be very close. We're going to have a dive here into the corner, but he turns in. We make contact again. We damage our front wing even further. Now Weber on the outside of Russell. Can he make it stick? We understeer completely through here. And now Russell's going to have a look again down the inside. And I didn't know he was here. And a bit more contact between the two. Russell's not going to be happy with us after this Grand Prix. We managed to just hold on for now, as Butler will start the final on the second last lap, the penultimate lap. And we're now got no chance of winning this F2 championship. We're just going to have to hold on for a podium with George Russell and our teammate Lucas Weber. And fortunately enough, they didn't challenge us in the last 2 laps, and we were able to hold on for a podium spot. But unfortunately, that means Devon Butler is your Formula 2 World Champion.
Well done, good finish. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
It's been my privilege over the years to witness a number of great sporting events, and here's another to add to that prestigious list. It's the ultimate dream for any racing driver. We have a new Formula 2 World Champion. That's it for another race and a fantastic win for Russian time. Talk to me, Davide. Was it everything you hoped for?
Everything and more. He had it all. The rivalry, the tension, the excitement. These two drivers have been locked in fierce competition all season. And to see it comes down to head-to-head battle for the line like this, well, this kind of things doesn't happen very often. Devon's performance today has secured the championship, and he has every right to be proud of that. I'm just happy I was here to watch it.
Devon Butler put up a great race in that last race. Unfortunately, no contest for him. Maybe if I didn't break the front wing on the first corner, maybe it's a different story. Maybe we have the pace to compete. But unfortunately, that didn't go our way this time. And if I had known they were going to go that slow through turn 1, I would have braked a bit more.
Also seals the Formula 2 World Championship title. Congratulations to our winner after an incredible season. And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
It's a difficult one, but I got to go for the Carlin driver. They pushed and found some fantastic performance. It was a pleasure to watch.
So then, Carlin have done it. This result seals their victory, and they are team champions at last. Meanwhile, Arden's strong weekend allows them to continue their march up the table. And after all that excitement, I think it's time for a lie down. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you when Formula 2 returns.
So I figured out why we started 8th and he started 4th, because he finished 5th in the feature race and we finished 1st, which is good to see that. But also we lose out the championship, unfortunately, but we do win the team's championship as a consolation prize, I guess. But overall, I enjoyed these 3 scenario modes. It's a good refreshment just compared to just jumping into Formula 1.
Have your take on it.
So
that was a thrilling end to the season. How was the race for you?
yeah, it's a good refreshment compared to just jumping straight into Formula 1, jumping into Australia, as you do every year for the past 10 years, apart from a couple of years that was at Bahrain.
Well, you went into this final race with the championship in your grasp. How are you feeling about being so close but missing out?
So overall, I think this was a good starting point for Codemasters to hopefully expand on next year. I'm not sure if there's going to be more story mode in the in Formula 1, but if not, that's fine. I think there's not much really more you could do in Formula 1. You would like to see it continue.
Appreciate your time.
But yeah, it was a good starting point for them, as I've said. And now we'll be looking for a drive in Formula 1. We'll have the cutscene now with Butler being a arrogant arsehole once again.
Devon, much as it hurts, we admit that was a great drive today. Congratulations on the championship as well.
Well, I'm sure you thought you had me for a while, but I guess your luck just didn't know that. Oh, I haven't got long. Could I have a quick word?
Sure.
Privately.
Okay, I'll see you later then.
So, I'm sure you've probably already heard, but if you haven't, I'm going to be racing in the F1 Championship next year. Now, I don't know what your plans are, but let me give you some friendly advice. Don't try following me. For sure. We might get an offer from one of the smaller teams, probably someone desperate. And then you'll be stuck in P18 all season with Carter. And you won't ever really be able to do me. But you stick it out here for another year, now that I'm gone, you've got a fighting chance of winning next year. And if you can manage that, I'm sure one of the larger teams would love to have you as a development driver. Oh, look out for yourself, yeah?
He does not want to race you. Stay in F2? Ridiculous. I was listening to the whole thing. Too bad for Devon, but I might be shocked if you don't have an F1 contract offer already. If my deal pans out, man, his head is going to explode.
So now we're going to Emma's office 2 months after the season, I guess. I don't think would be the case in real life because 2 months after the season would be testing already. But here we are to sign up as which team we're going to be driving for.
Come on in. Take a seat. It's time we have the big conversation about your next move. Your performance at the F2 Championships last year led to a lot of potential from the Formula 1 teams. Some of it more positive than others. I'm not so concerned with who does or doesn't like you. You'll have plenty of time to win the doubt is over. But I am concerned with our choices. They're narrowing as we haven't shown commitment to anyone. As your agent, my advice is to make your decision now. We can worry about comfort and final points further down the line. I need you to review these. You've earned every single one of these proposals. So take your time, have a read through, and don't get too hung up on specifics. Let's get you a Formula 1 seat.
So as we saw before, I did choose the Red Bull Drivers Program, as I believe for this year's game I want to start off with Toro Rosso, jump into Red Bull and try and win the championship with Red Bull. I believe that's the way I'm going to try and go this year. I was just looking at some of these goals that these teams have. Like for instance, McLaren's expectations was to fight for wins, which I thought was funny. Fight and win, which where and Williams, unfortunately for them, it's just be consistent, which was quite hilarious to me. But we will be going with the Toro Rosso team to start off our junior career mode. Here's the contract, looks all good to me, so we'll accept that and get on with our career mode.
Excellent choice. From my conversations with them, they're going to be very excited to pursue this opportunity with you. I'll let them know our intentions immediately. I'll have to clean up some final details with them, but that's what you pay me for. Other than that, congratulations. You've earned it.
Oh, hey, you're here. Catch up. Sorry, I'm just on my way out, but your workstation's at the back over there. It should be all set up on the network, but let the guys know it isn't. From there, you can access all the data you need to help us direct development of the car. Get yourself settled, and then head out to practice when you're ready. I'll catch up with you later, okay?
So, thanks guys for watching today's episode. Please leave a like.
Toro Rosso are famed for nurturing promising talent and kick-starting the careers of exciting drivers, from Vettel to Sainz to Ricciardo. But they're much more than that. This is a strong team that expects regular points finishes.
Subscribe, leave comments, feedback in the section below. I'll see you guys later today for the first race at Australia.